You were never invited. This was for real family only. My sister texted after they all skipped my birthday for a secret family trip. We wanted a good time without your negative energy ruining everything. I snapped, then pay your own bills, while canceling the mortgage, her truck payment, and every loan, in silence. The next day, I woke up on 47 missed calls. Hey everyone! Before we jump into today's video, I need your help. We've noticed the channel is losing some traction, and subscribing is one of the best ways you can support us. It's quick, free, and it helps us keep bringing you awesome content. Your support means the world. Let's keep this channel growing together. Thanks so much. Now let's start the video. So this is going to be long as hell, but I need to get this out somewhere before I lose my mind. Using a throwaway, obviously, because some of my coworkers browse this site, and honestly, what I did was, well, you'll see. I 33 male, work in construction management in a mid-sized town in Ohio. Not gonna lie, reading some of these revenge stories on here over the years gave me ideas when my own situation went nuclear. So here's mine. Quick background. I'm the middle kid in a family where my older sister Sarah, 36F, was always the golden child, and my younger brother Tommy, 29M, was the baby who could do no wrong. Me? I was the workhorse. The reliable one. The one who'd figure it out when shit hit the fan. Classic middle child stuff, right? Except it got so much worse than that. So here's where it all went to hell. 2 weeks ago was my 33rd birthday. Nothing fancy planned. I just wanted to spend a quiet weekend at this lake house I'd rented about 2 hours outside of town. Cost me $800 for the weekend, but whatever. I thought it'd be nice to have the whole family together for once without any drama. I sent the invite 3 months early. Bought everyone's favorite snacks. Got a cake from that bakery mom always talks about. Even offered to cover gas money because I know Dad's been tight since the plant cut his overtime. Sarah said she'd bring her 2 kids. Mom and Dad were excited about it. Even Tommy said he'd drive down from Columbus, where he's been finding himself for the past 2 years. Day of my birthday comes and I'm up there setting everything up like Martha fucking Stewart. Got the grill ready, beer in the cooler, even made those little welcome bags with trail mix and shit because apparently I hate myself. Noon rolls around. Nobody. 2 o'clock. Still nothing. Not even a text saying they're running late. By 5 p.m., I'm sitting on this dock, staring at 6 uncooked steaks, wondering what the hell I did wrong this time. Called Mom twice, straight to voicemail. Texted Sarah, left unread. It's like they all just vanished. Spent my birthday alone eating gas station chips and watching Netflix on my phone because the Wi-Fi was garbage. Didn't even cut the cake. Just sat there feeling like the biggest idiot in Ohio. But here's where it gets good. 2 days later, I'm scrolling Instagram during lunch break. Yeah, I know, first mistake. And Sarah's posted this whole album. 15 pictures of the entire family, Mom, Dad, Tommy, Sarah, her kids, at some other lake house. Different lake, different house, same fucking weekend as my birthday. The captions made me want to throw my phone through a window. Best family weekend ever. Nothing beats quality time with the people who matter most. Grateful for our tribe. Not tagged, not mentioned. Not even a wish mark was here in the comments. They'd planned a whole-ass family trip, probably for weeks, and just left me out on my birthday. While I was sitting alone at a lake house waiting for them like some pathetic asshole, that's when something just snapped. Not angry snapped, more like clarity snapped. Like when you've been staring at one of those magic eye pictures for 20 minutes, and suddenly you can see the goddamn sailboat. I realized I wasn't family to them. I was a fucking ATM with legs. After the Instagram revelation, I couldn't focus on work. My foreman Jake kept asking if I was all right because I looked like someone ran over my dog. Told him family drama and he just nodded. But I started thinking about all the ways I'd been helping them financially. When I sat down with my bank statements and actually added it up, Jesus fucking Christ. Dad's truck payment, $380 a month for 8 months, because he needed help getting back on his feet. That's over $3,000. Sarah's credit card paid off her $2,800 balance last Christmas, when she cried about not buying her kids presents. She promised to pay me back by March. It's October now. Mom's emergency medical bills. Probably $6,000 total this year alone. Tommy's rent when he lost his job. $900 a month for 4 months. Turns out he quit to focus on his stupid podcast that gets 12 downloads per episode. And then there was the big one. 3 years ago, Mom called crying about losing the house. Said they were behind on the mortgage, just needed help catching up. So like an idiot, I set up an automatic transfer. $1,400 every month straight to their mortgage company for 3 years. That's over $50,000 of my money. So I did something I should have done years ago. Requested a credit report. The results made me want to punch a hole through my wall. Sarah's business loan from 2018, $15,000 still outstanding. I'm listed as primary cosigner. Dad's credit card, $8,500 balance with me as authorized user with full responsibility. Some loan for Tommy's music equipment, $4,200 that I don't remember agreeing to. These people have been using my credit, my money, my stability as their personal safety net for years. And when I needed them, on my fucking birthday, they couldn't even show up. By morning, I had a plan. Time to cut the umbilical cord and see how long it takes them to bleed out. I took a personal day and drove to my bank. Asked to speak with someone about removing myself from accounts and loans I didn't want to be responsible for anymore. The woman helping me, Janet, took one look at my credit report and whistled. Honey, your family's been treating you like a cosigner farm. Turns out there's a whole process for removing yourself from financial obligations when the primary borrower has been in default. Since Sarah hadn't made payments on her business loan in months and Dad was behind on his credit card, I could legally remove myself and transfer full responsibility back to them. There's usually a 30-day grace period where they can bring accounts current before collections gets involved. Janet helped me draft letters to each creditor formally requesting removal from the accounts. We scheduled everything to go out the same day. Next stop was the county recorder's office. I remember Dad had put my name on his LLC paperwork years ago because his credit was shot. He promised he'd transfer it to his name once things got established. He never did. Turns out that little consulting business had been pretty busy. Dad had been using it to write off personal expenses and took out a $12,000 line of credit without telling me. I filed paperwork to dissolve the LLC entirely, which would make any business debts become personal debts for whoever was using the company. But the real kicker came when I called the mortgage company. The rep confirmed my payments had been applied correctly, but mentioned there was a refinance last year that I knew nothing about. The property was assessed at $340,000 during the refi. My parents hadn't been using my money to save the house. They'd been using it to make payments on a bigger loan they'd taken out behind my back. I scheduled everything to execute exactly 1 week after my birthday, the day I stopped being their ATM and started being their biggest problem. The day finally came. October 15th, exactly 1 week after they ditched my birthday. By 10 a.m., letters were in the mail removing me from all their accounts, the LLC dissolution was filed, and I canceled the $1,400 monthly mortgage payment. Around 2 p.m., my phone started buzzing. Text from Mom. Hi, honey. The bank called about some paperwork issue with the house payment. Can you give them a call? Even now, her first instinct was to have me fix it. I didn't respond. By evening, my phone was blowing up. Finally, Dad called, his tone annoyed rather than worried. Mark, what the hell is going on? Your mom's been on the phone all day trying to figure out why the mortgage payment got canceled. I decided to stop making your mortgage payments, I said calmly. We need that payment to go through or we'll get hit with late fees. Sounds like a problem you should have thought about before planning a family trip without me. What trip? What are you talking about? He was actually going to pretend it didn't happen. The trip where you all went to Lake Geneva the same weekend you were supposed to be at my birthday party. That wasn't planned to hurt you. Sarah just suggested it last minute. Last minute. With matching t-shirts and professionally catered barbecue. An hour later, Sarah called. She seemed genuinely confused that I might stop sending money for any reason other than being unable to afford it. You never think about me unless you need money, I told her. That's not fair. When's the last time any of you called just to talk without following it up with a request for money? She couldn't answer. The house payment needs to go through. Mom's having a panic attack. Then maybe you and Tommy should chip in. You know, like a family. For the first time in years, that wasn't my problem to solve. It felt pretty fucking good. The next few days were like watching a controlled demolition. Everything I'd set in motion was hitting exactly when I'd planned, and the panic was spreading through my family like wildfire. Wednesday morning, I got a call from an unknown number. Turned out to be the bank that held Sarah's business loan. Mr. Thompson? This is Jennifer from First National regarding the business loan account ending in 4847. We received your request to be removed as cosigner, and we need to discuss the account status. Sure. What do you need to know? Well, sir, the account is currently 3 months behind on payments, and with your removal, the full balance of $15,847 is now due immediately from the primary borrower. We've sent a notice to Ms. Sarah Thompson, but wanted to confirm you understand this may impact her credit significantly. Music to my ears. I understand completely. Also, sir, I should mention that our records show you've been making sporadic payments on this account over the past 2 years. You may want to consider pursuing repayment of those funds through small claims court. Actually, I hadn't thought of that. How much are we talking about? Let me see. Looks like approximately $4,200 in payments from your personal account since 2021. $4,000. $4,000 fucking dollars I'd paid toward a loan for Sarah's business that she'd apparently been defaulting on anyway. Thursday brought even better news. Got a certified letter from the county about the LLC dissolution going through ahead of schedule. Dad's consulting business was officially closed, which meant the $12,000 line of credit he'd taken out was now his personal responsibility. The letter also mentioned that since the business account had been the primary payment method for the loan, and that account was now closed, the lender would be contacting the personal guarantor, that would be Dad, within 24 hours to arrange new payment terms. I was having a beer and reading this letter when my phone rang. Dad again. Mark, I don't know what you did, but I got a call from some loan company saying I owe them 12 grand immediately. They said something about the business being dissolved? Yeah, I dissolved the LLC. You never transferred it to your name like you said you would. So technically it was my business. And since I'm closing down all my businesses, well, you can't just dissolve a business that I've been running. Actually, Dad, I can. It was in my name. I never signed anything giving you authority to take out loans or run operations. So legally, you've been operating under my business license and taking on debt in my name without permission. I could hear him breathing heavily. Mark, this is insane. I can't come up with $12,000. Maybe you should have thought about that before taking out the loan. Or before skipping my birthday party. This isn't about your goddamn birthday party. No, Dad. It's about 33 years of you treating me like a bank instead of a son. Friday was when things really got interesting. Sarah showed up at my apartment. I live in a decent complex on the north side of town. Nothing fancy, but it's quiet and the neighbors mind their own business. So when I looked out my window and saw Sarah's minivan in the parking lot, I knew this wasn't going to be a social call. She knocked like she was trying to wake the dead. I waited a full minute before opening the door. We need to talk, she said, pushing past me into the apartment. Hello to you too, Sarah. She spun around, and I could see she'd been crying. Good. Mark, what the fuck is wrong with you? That loan company called me this morning. They want the full $15,000 by next week, or they're sending it to collections. Sucks for you. I don't have $15,000. Then maybe you shouldn't have taken out a $15,000 loan. You co-signed for it. You're supposed to be responsible too. Not anymore. I legally removed myself from the loan. Since you've been in default for months, they can demand full payment from the primary borrower. That's you. She stared at me like I'd grown a second head. You can't just abandon a loan like that. I can when the primary borrower has been making payments with my money anyway. Did you think I wouldn't notice that you've been using me as your personal ATM? I always paid you back. Bullshit. You paid me back maybe twice in 5 years. And even then, only partial payments. She sat down on my couch without asking and put her head in her hands. Mark, I can't lose my business. It's all I have. What business, Sarah? You haven't made a sale in 6 months. You've been using that business account to pay personal expenses and write off your kids' school supplies. She looked up sharply. How do you know that? Because I've been paying attention. You think I'm stupid? You think I don't notice when you suddenly have money for new furniture right after I pay off your credit card? We stared at each other for a long moment. Then she started crying again. Please, Mark. I'll figure out a payment plan with you. I'll pay back everything I owe. Just please don't let them send this to collections. It'll ruin my credit. Your credit's already ruined, Sarah. You've been late on payments for years. But this will make it so much worse. I won't be able to get a car loan or rent an apartment or anything. Should have thought about that before. Before what? Before missing your stupid birthday party? And there it was. My stupid birthday party. Get out. Mark, get out of my apartment. Now. She left, but not before telling me I was being a selfish asshole and that family was supposed to stick together. Funny how family only mattered when they needed something from me. Saturday brought a call from Mom. Her voice was shaky, like she'd been crying for hours. Mark, honey, please. I don't understand what's happening. The mortgage company called and said we're going to be assessed late fees if we don't make a payment by Monday. Can you please just make this one payment while we figure out what went wrong? Nothing went wrong, Mom. I just stopped paying your mortgage. But why? Did we do something to upset you? I almost laughed. Do you really not know? Know what? My birthday was last weekend, Mom. Long pause. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry we missed that. Sarah called with this last-minute opportunity, and we thought you'd probably be working anyway. I wasn't working. I was sitting alone at a lake house waiting for my family to show up for my birthday party. We didn't know you were really expecting us to come. I sent you an invitation 3 months ago. I bought food for everyone. I paid for the rental. Well, we'll make it up to you. We'll plan something nice for next year. Next year. Like that was going to fix anything. Mom, I've been paying your mortgage for 3 years. Do you know how much money that is? It's just been such a help, Mark. We're so grateful. Are you? Because grateful people usually say thank you. Grateful people don't lie about how much they owe on their house. Grateful people don't take out new loans behind my back. Silence. How did you know about the refinance? Because I'm not an idiot. You told me the house was almost paid off, but you've been using my money to pay off a loan for the full value of the property. You've been lying to me for over a year. Mark, it's complicated. We needed some cash for repairs and you decided to lie to me about it instead of being honest. How much did you actually take out in the refinance, Mom? She didn't answer. How much? It's not what you think. How much? We got $50,000 in cash, she whispered. $50,000. They'd refinanced the house, taken 50 grand in cash, and then convinced me to pay the new higher mortgage while lying to my face about how much they owed. What did you spend it on? Tommy needed help with some debts, and Sarah's business was struggling, and your father's truck needed repairs. So they'd taken out a loan against their house to give money to my siblings, then convinced me to pay for it while lying about the situation. You're done, Mom. All of you. I'm not paying for anything anymore. Mark, please. We'll lose the house. Then you should have thought about that before you decided to screw me over. I hung up and turned off my phone. Sunday I spent cleaning my apartment and doing laundry. Normal stuff. Peaceful stuff. For the first time in years, I didn't have to worry about anyone else's financial crisis. It was the best weekend I'd had in months. Monday morning, I woke up to 23 missed calls and 47 text messages. Apparently, my family had spent Sunday in full panic mode. The messages were a beautiful progression from confusion to anger to desperation. Mom, please call me back. The mortgage company is demanding payment today. Dad, Mark, I'm getting calls from debt collectors. This isn't funny anymore. Sarah, my business account is frozen. I can't even buy groceries. Tommy, dude, what the hell? Mom's crying nonstop. Sarah again. Mark, please. The kids are asking why mommy's upset all the time. Mom, we might lose the house. Please don't let this happen. Dad, if you don't call me back, I'm driving over there. And then my personal favorite, from Sarah. You're destroying this family over a stupid birthday party. Grow up. I screenshotted that last one. Might frame it. Around 10 a.m., my doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I could see Mom, Dad, and Sarah standing outside looking like they'd been through a blender. Tommy was there too, which surprised me since Columbus is a 2-hour drive. I didn't open the door. Mark! Dad pounded on the door. We know you're in there. Your car's in the parking lot. I sat on my couch and turned up the TV. Mark, please. Mom's voice was high and desperate. We just need to talk. More pounding. A few of my neighbors poked their heads out to see what the commotion was about. Mrs. Chen from next door gave me a concerned look through her window. After about 10 minutes of this, I heard Sarah say, He's not answering. We should call the police. And tell them what? Tommy replied. That our brother won't pay our bills anymore? Smart kid. Still a mooch, but smart. They eventually left, but not before Dad shouted, This isn't over, Mark. Family doesn't abandon family. Ironic, coming from the guy who abandoned me at a lake house on my birthday. Tuesday brought a new development. I got a call at work from my supervisor, Pete. Mark, your dad called the office looking for you. Says it's a family emergency and he needs to reach you immediately. It's not an emergency, Pete, just family drama. He seemed pretty worked up. Said something about you stealing money from them? I almost dropped my coffee. He said what? Yeah, he was going on about business accounts being closed without permission and mortgage payments being stolen. I told him I'd pass along the message, but that personal stuff needs to stay out of the workplace. They were actually trying to make me look like the bad guy at my job. These people had no fucking limits. Pete, just so you know, I've been helping my family financially for years and recently decided to stop. Everything I did was legal and with my own money. If they call again, just hang up. Will do. But Mark, maybe handle this before it gets worse. Family shit has a way of following you to work if you're not careful. He was right. I needed to end this before they started showing up at the job site. That evening, I did something I'd been putting off. I called my family's lawyer. Well, technically my Uncle Bob, who's been handling family legal stuff for years. He's my dad's brother, but he's always been straight with me. Mark, haven't heard from you in ages. How's work? It's good, Uncle Bob. Listen, I need some legal advice about extricating myself from some family financial situations. I explained everything. The loans, the co-signing, the LLC, the mortgage payments. Bob listened without interrupting, which is his lawyer way of telling you he's taking notes. Jesus, Mark, how long has this been going on? Years. I kept thinking it was temporary help, but they've basically been using me as their financial safety net while lying about their actual situations. And you've documented everything? Bank statements, loan papers, the works? Yeah, I've got copies of everything. Good. From what you're telling me, you're legally in the clear on all of this. You had every right to remove yourself from those accounts, especially since the primary borrowers were in default. The LLC dissolution is straightforward since you were the sole owner on record. But what if they try to take me to court? Dad was saying something about theft. Bob laughed. Theft? Mark, you can't steal your own money, and you can't steal by stopping payments that you were making voluntarily. If anything, they owe you money for all the payments you made on their behalf. That's what I thought. But I wanted to make sure. Here's my advice. Document everything. Save all communications, and don't engage with them directly anymore. If they want to dispute anything, they can do it through lawyers. But honestly, I don't think they will. They know they were in the wrong. Thanks, Uncle Bob. I owe you. No, you don't. But Mark, be careful. Desperate people do stupid things, and from what you're telling me, they're getting pretty desperate. Wednesday proved Uncle Bob right. I was coming home from work around 6 p.m. when I noticed my apartment door was slightly open. My blood went cold. I keep that door locked religiously, and the deadbolt was definitely turned when I left that morning. I called the police before going inside. 2 officers showed up within minutes. Officers Martinez and Johnson. Good guys. I dealt with them before when there was a break-in at my neighbor's place last year. Someone's been in your apartment? Martinez asked. Yeah, the door was open when I got home. I always lock it. We went inside together. The place was trashed. Not violent trashing, but like someone had been searching for something. Drawers pulled out, papers scattered, my desk completely ransacked. Anything missing? Johnson asked. I looked around. TV was still there. Laptop was still on my dresser. But my filing cabinet was wide open, and papers were everywhere. I think they were looking through my financial documents, I said. Any idea who might have done this? I hesitated. I knew exactly who did this, but accusing family members of breaking and entering felt like crossing a line I couldn't uncross. Maybe. I've been having some family disputes about money. Martinez nodded. We see this a lot. Family thinks they're entitled to information about accounts they're not legally allowed to access. They took a report and said they'd dust for prints, but unless something was actually stolen, there wasn't much they could do. After they left, I called the apartment complex office and requested new locks immediately. Then I sat down to assess what had been messed with. My filing cabinet contained bank statements, loan documents, insurance papers, basically everything someone would need to understand my financial situation. Someone had gone through it methodically, photocopying or photographing documents. My laptop was still password protected, but they'd clearly tried to access it. The power cord was unplugged and moved, and there were fingerprints all over the screen. Most telling was what they left behind. A sticky note on my kitchen counter that said, "We just want to understand what's happening." The handwriting was Sarah's. I called Uncle Bob immediately. They broke into your apartment? Yeah. Went through all my financial records. Mark, that's a felony. Breaking and entering? Possibly theft if they took copies of documents? I don't want to press charges. They're still family. Family doesn't break into your home, Mark. This is escalating beyond normal family drama. I know, but no buts. You need to file a police report naming them specifically, and you need to get a restraining order. This behavior is not normal. He was right. This had moved beyond money disputes into criminal territory. Thursday morning, I filed additional paperwork with the police, officially naming my family members as suspects in the break-in. I also went to the courthouse and filed for a temporary restraining order against all 4 of them. By Thursday afternoon, they'd all been served. Friday evening, my phone rang. Unknown number, but I recognized the background noise. It was the police station. Mark, it's Sarah. I'm at the county jail. Why are you calling me? They arrested me for breaking into your apartment. I need you to bail me out. I almost laughed. No. What do you mean no? I mean no, I'm not bailing you out. You broke into my home. Mark, please. I just needed to understand what was happening with the loans. I'm losing everything. That's not my problem anymore. Please. The kids don't know where I am. Tommy's watching them, but he doesn't know anything about their routine. Should have thought about that before you committed a felony. Mark, I hung up. Saturday morning, I got a call from Tommy. Dude, you have to help Sarah. She's still in jail and the kids are freaking out. Then maybe you should help her. I don't have bail money. Not my problem. Mark, come on. She's our sister. Sisters don't break into your apartment, Tommy. She was just trying to figure out what was going on. She was trying to find information she could use against me. There's a difference. Look, I know everyone's been maybe taking advantage of you, but this is getting out of hand. No, Tommy. What's getting out of hand is 3 decades of me being treated like a walking wallet instead of a family member. Sarah escalated this when she broke into my home. She's been in jail for 2 days, Mark. Her kids miss their mom. Then maybe she should have thought about her kids before she decided to commit a crime. He hung up on me. Sunday was quiet, peaceful even. I spent the day reading and doing some minor repairs around the apartment. For the first time in weeks, nobody called asking for money or help or bail. It was the best day I'd had in years, but I had a feeling the storm wasn't over yet. Monday morning brought the call I'd been expecting. Uncle Bob, Mark, your parents want to meet. They're asking me to mediate a family discussion. About what? They want to work out a payment plan for you to resume helping them, and they want you to drop the charges against Sarah. I was quiet for a long moment. What do you think I should do? Honestly, I think you should hear them out. Not because they deserve it, but because you need to set boundaries that are crystal clear. If you don't, this is going to keep escalating. He was right. We met Tuesday evening at his office downtown. Neutral territory. Mom and Dad looked like they'd aged 5 years in 2 weeks. Sarah was there too. Apparently, she'd made bail Monday night. Tommy sat in the corner looking uncomfortable. Mark, Mom started, we need to talk about this situation. What situation is that, Mom? You know what situation. The money, the loans, the house. We need to work something out. I leaned back in my chair. I'm listening. Dad cleared his throat. Look, Mark, we know you're upset about the birthday thing. Maybe we could have handled that better. Maybe. Could have. These people were unbelievable. But this nuclear option you've chosen is hurting everyone, he continued. Your mother's having panic attacks. Sarah's kids don't understand why their mom was in jail. Tommy had to drop out of school to help with family stuff. Tommy's been out of school for 2 years, Dad. Well, he was thinking about going back. Jesus. Sarah leaned forward. Mark, I'm sorry about going through your apartment. I was just desperate and scared, and I didn't know what else to do. You could have called me. You weren't answering your phone. Because you'd excluded me from a family trip and then expected me to keep paying your bills like nothing happened? Mom started crying. Right on schedule. Mark, honey, we're family. Family forgives each other. Are we family, Mom? Because family doesn't lie about refinancing their house and taking $50,000 in cash while their son pays the new mortgage. Dad shifted uncomfortably. That money was for necessary expenses. Like what? Tommy's debts? Sarah's business? Repairs? What repairs? I was just at the house last month and it's in perfect condition. Silence. You gave the money to Tommy and Sarah, didn't you? All 50,000. More silence. Jesus Christ. You took out a loan against your house to give money to my siblings, then convinced me to pay for it by lying about how much you owed. It wasn't like that, Mom said weakly. It was exactly like that. Uncle Bob finally spoke up. Folks, let's focus on solutions here. Mark, what would it take for you to consider resuming some level of financial assistance? I'd been thinking about this question for days. Complete transparency, I said. Every account, every debt, every financial obligation laid out on paper. No more lies, no more surprises. They looked at each other nervously. Full repayment of every dollar I've given you over the past 5 years. We calculate it all up and you pay me back on a schedule. Dad started to protest, but I held up my hand. And an acknowledgement that I'm not your emergency fund anymore. You want help? You ask politely, explain exactly what it's for, and accept no as an answer. Mark, Sarah said, that's not realistic. We can't pay you back everything right now. Then I guess we don't have a deal. You're being unreasonable, Dad said. Am I? Let me ask you something, Dad. If your brother Bob here had been making your truck payments for 8 months and you found out he'd been taking money from his kids' college funds to do it, what would you tell him? That's different. How? Because we're family. We help each other. No, Dad. I helped you for years. And the one time I needed you to show up for something important to me, you chose to exclude me instead. I stood up. You know what the really sad part is? If you'd just been honest with me from the beginning, I probably would have helped anyway. If you'd said, Mark, we're struggling and we need a loan, instead of lying about emergencies and making me feel guilty, we could have worked something out. Mom looked up hopefully. So you'll consider helping again? No, Mom. You missed the point entirely. I looked around the room at these people who'd spent years treating me like an ATM with legs. Here's what's going to happen. Sarah, you're going to plead guilty to the breaking and entering charge and accept whatever sentence they give you. I'm not dropping those charges. Mark, you're also going to figure out your own way to pay that business loan. I'm not co-signing anything else for you ever again. I turned to Dad. You're going to handle your truck payments and that business loan you took out? I dissolved the LLC legally, so that debt is yours now. I can't afford more. Not my problem. Finally, I looked at Mom. You're going to figure out how to make your mortgage payments without my help. Maybe get a job, maybe sell the house and downsize. Maybe ask Tommy to contribute something for once in his life. But Mark, Tommy said, I don't have any money. Then get a job, Tommy. You're 29 years old. I headed toward the door, then turned back. Oh, and one more thing. Don't contact me anymore. Don't call, don't text, don't show up at my apartment or my work. The next time any of you try to manipulate me or guilt me into paying your bills, I'll file harassment charges. Mark, wait, Mom called. What about holidays? What about family dinners? I paused. You should have thought about that before you ditched my birthday for a secret family trip. Uncle Bob walked me to my car. You know they'll probably lose the house, he said. Yeah, I know. And Sarah's business is definitely going under. Good. It was never a real business anyway. You okay with all this? I thought about it for a moment. Bob, for the first time in my adult life, I don't have to worry about anyone else's financial crisis. I don't have to check my bank account every morning wondering what emergency I'll be expected to fix. I don't have to pretend that giving away half my income is normal family behavior. Sounds lonely. Sounds peaceful. And it was. Over the next few months, I watched from a distance as everything I'd predicted came true. They lost the house and had to move into a rental. Dad's truck got repossessed. Sarah's business folded and she had to get a job at a call center. Tommy moved back in with Mom and Dad. They tried reaching out a few times through mutual friends and distant relatives. But I held firm. No contact, no help, no exceptions. Some people probably think I went too far. That family should forgive family. That I should have given them another chance.